My name is Tim Pollard. I'm Head of Sustainability for Wolseley UK.
My name's Chris Booker. I'm the Product Development Manager within the Wolseley UK Sustainable Building Centre team.
I'm Siobhan Smith and I'm the Deputy Programme Manager for the Sustainable Building Centre.
The concept of the Sustainable Building Centre is to act as a showcase for sustainable construction products, so that our Wolseley stakeholders can come and see, feel, touch and experience these products in a real working environment, and also to show that we can build an attractive, practical building and not make any compromises.
I think that the move to sustainable construction is very much on. Wolseley are very committed to being at the forefront of leading that transitional period, if you like, from cottage industry into the mainstream. Our job very much is to get to a point where sustainable construction products aren't sustainable construction products anymore. They're just construction products. So they're normal, everyday, that people are used to using and used to sourcing. So the building itself, if you like, is a wonderful showcase for those products and technologies which we're pretty convinced are going to be becoming increasingly popular and increasingly in demand by our customer base.
The three main legislative drivers are the Code for Sustainable Homes, which defines that we have to be providing zero carbon new homes by 2016, the Energy Performance in Buildings Directive, which is probably best recognised in terms of the energy performance certificates that we all have to have when we buy or sell our house, and the Climate Change Bill, which sets in law a climate change target of a reduction of 60% by 2050.
We're not shy of the fact that the Sustainable Building Centre is a commercial activity. The whole point of the building is to sell sustainable products to our customers, so whether that be architects, specifiers or plumbers and builders that come into our local centres.
The criteria that we applied was that any product in here would have to be commercially available in commercial timescales at an economic price. So there's nothing blue sky in here, there's nothing tomorrow's world. Everything is available and is practically installable today.
The brief to the architect when we first mooted the idea of a sustainable building centre, the challenge really for the architect was to give us a visitor destination that incorporated as many different types of products and technologies, all with sustainable credentials, features and benefits, as was practical in one building design. For example, we've incorporated 5 different types of heat source. We have 4 different types of roof construction. We have several different types of wall products, etc. Whereas normally you'd pick one that's most suited to your project and use it. We've deliberately incorporated many different ones in order to showcase them to our customers.
The building, although being one building, shows 2 very distinct building styles. The northern wing is a lightweight structure, timber framed, and the southern wing is a heavy mass structure using structural concrete, both of which have sustainable outcomes, but achieving them in a very different way.
The inclusion of concrete is quite an interesting policy for a sustainable project. To most sustainable purists, concrete is not a good thing to do. Certainly the cement content of concrete carries a very high carbon footprint. The manufacture process is very energy intensive. But we have to have a realistic and practical approach to construction. And our view certainly is that concrete will be around for a very long time to come. And therefore we need to consider how concrete construction can be more sustainable than perhaps it would have previously been. But we've chosen to incorporate a product called Hanson Twin Wall, which instantly reduces the cement content by 40% and replaces it with a product called pulverised fuel ash, which is actually a waste stream from power stations, which in itself is a good thing to be able to reuse and recycle. So our concrete has got a 40% lower carbon footprint. We've installed a ground source heat pump into the building here, which is a piece of technology that has the ability to extract stored latent heat beneath the Earth's surface at a depth of only 1 metre to 1.2 metres. So the ground source heat pump is connected to a series of pipes which are installed at that level, into which we send an antifreeze mixture, and we're able to bring back some of that heat gain into the unit, and then via a compressor increase the temperature to 35-40 degrees, which is perfect for underfloor heating temperature. At that level, a ground source heat pump is 400 to 500% efficient, which is 4 or 5 or even 6 times more efficient than a standard boiler.
Well, solar thermal energy is hot water from the sun, and essentially what we're trying to do is replace hot water which is generated using fossil fuels, typically in a domestic setting from a gas boiler. It's a very simple technology, only one moving part, which is a pump, so it's very low in maintenance, consumes remarkably little energy, but yet returns you about 60% of your domestic hot water during the year.
Biomass is actually one of the more simpler technologies. Biomass is as old as the hills. And I guess we've been using biomass as a fuel since cavemen first discovered fire. Biomass is simply burning wood and plant matter. So the products that are available to market today, and certainly the biomass boiler that we've installed in our building here, simply burns preformed wood pellets, wood chips, or even grain. The technology is deemed to be carbon neutral, because the carbon that's emitted when you burn the fuel is offset by the carbon that's consumed when the plant grew in the first place.
Such systems are very important in urban areas. A lot of urban areas have non-porous surfaces, and what this encourages is flash flooding and pooling. This means that the water reaches the drain very quickly and you get backups and floods. On this site, we managed to install porous paving. Now this allows the water to seep through the paving. It's then fed down into our soakaway, and what this essentially is a plastic crate which slows the water down, and that's slowly fed back into the drainage system. The floods in 2007 showed that how non-porous surfaces can be such a problem when there's heavy rainfall.
All the rain which falls onto the roof of the southern wing is harvested in a tank which is buried on the outside of the building. We have a Titan Enviro system. We're storing about 3,000 litres in there. That's mostly used for toilet flushing. And again, toilet flushing accounts for in excess of 30% of domestic water use. We also use it for irrigation. Current thinking in terms of drainage is that you treat rainwater at source, as opposed to trying to get it into the waterways as quickly as possible. We've seen the results of that during last year, and what we're trying to do is to mitigate against all those possibilities.
The tank can be anything from 3,000 litres right up to 100,000 litres. So it can be used in a domestic situation or a commercial situation. And what it does is use the rain that falls on our roof, uses the drainage system to direct it down to the tank. And if we use all of the water throughout the tank, we can then top that up with a main supply. Now this is a great system and can supply about 50% of your water for the year. It also has a payback of about 3 years, which is fantastic for a domestic system. The Sustainable Building Centre incorporates 2 types of lighting throughout the building. We use LEDs to highlight and feature lighting, Now, they use a minimum amount of electricity. They're approximately 1 watt and give us fantastic colours and are a great alternative to your normal halogen bulbs. We also use compact fluorescent lights, which are great for reading and working underneath. And you normally replace a 40-watt bulb with an 8-watt compact fluorescent bulb.
LED, we think, is going to be the next generation of lighting, extraordinarily efficient in terms of its energy use, but also very extended lifetimes. And coming together, that provides a very compelling case. Basically, conventional lighting provides light through heat. So the higher the temperature that the lamp gets to, then the more light which is given off. Light-emitting diodes do not depend on heat, and in fact are a cooler unit altogether. And that means extended life. If I can give you an example, a downlighter typically would run on a 50-watt halogen bulb with a lifetime of about 1,000 hours. An LED downlighter, you could expect comfortably 50,000 hours.
We can't overemphasise the need for effective lighting control. It seems that the most efficient way to use lighting is to keep people away from it, to be perfectly honest. In our particular building here, we have 3 levels of controls designed to do just that. The first is daylight sensing. So no matter what happens, the light simply won't function until a preset lux level has been achieved, which of course is adjustable according to the building's needs. The second level is movement sensing. So even when darkness comes, the lights don't just simply come on because it's dark. They're then looking for movement before they'll function. And the third level of control is timed. So, for example, if they detect movement, if there is no more movement within 8 minutes, they'll simply go off again. So there's always a level of control there that's trying to keep the lighting use to a minimum effectively. Two particular elements of flooring that have been particularly well received. The first one is simple linoleum. Always was actually a wonderfully sustainable product. Lino always has been made from natural ingredients, wood flour, linseed oil, etc. And when compared to vinyl, which is an oil-based alternative, lino is a far more sustainable option, and we're pleased to be able to showcase different lino finishes here. The second element of flooring to draw your attention to is our carpet. In fact, commercial carpet sustainably is bad news. Approximately 300,000 tonnes of commercial carpet go into landfill every year, and because of its oil-based bitumen backing, it takes many tens of thousands of years to biodegrade. Ours is a product called Renewal Carpet, which contains a natural rubber-based backing, which when it's buried in landfill will biodegrade in 4 years. So sustainably, a big step forward in terms of its disposal at the end of its useful life.
One of my favourite products is the Myra Eco handset. This is a shower handset fitted to a perfectly normal shower valve, but the output of that is that you achieve a really powerful shower but utilise 75% less water. And they do that by introducing air to the water flow, using the Venturi effect.
We've used Thermowood timber cladding extensively, which is a Finn Forest product. It's a Norwegian spruce, which is effectively baked. The baking process drives out the moisture and resins from within the fabric of the timber, which makes it perfect for exterior use. So this particular product is ideal for exterior cladding, it's ideal for decking, for example, but it has a 30-year service life. So the normal expectation with that type of product is that you're out there, every other year with your Cuprinol or whatever, repainting, preserving your timber finish. Well, actually, this product is a fit it and forget it with a 30-year service life.
The Sustainable Building Centre has a sedum roof on its north side. Now, this comprises of sedum and moss and absorbs about 90% of the water which falls on it. Now, that's great because it reduces the amount of flash flooding in the area. We also have a 300 ml of Cork-Lite insulation underneath. This helps to keep us warm in the winter and cool in the summer, and also reduces the amount of noise that we hear through the roof.
I'm in absolutely no doubt that if we are to maintain our progress in terms of construction, it will have to be on a sustainable basis. And sustainability is all about providing facilities which will not compromise future generations. And that's about using products which are sympathetic to the environment, are practical, and also have some longevity.
I think the Sustainable Building Centre is an early indication of the types of products and technologies that our customers are going to be using on a very regular basis in the not too distant future. So we're able now to be able to introduce our customers to products and technologies that perhaps they're not familiar with, but in the fullness of time will become very much part of their lives.
This is practical sustainability. This is delivering something which is achievable at any level. This building is not a house, it's not an office, it's not a factory, but it could be any one of those. And the products that are used in here show how eminently practical it is, and I might say, providing a very pleasing environment to live or work in during the day. I spent the last 3, 4, 5 years in a fully air-conditioned office, and it's a real pleasure to work in a naturally ventilated environment.